Hello everyone, welcome to Guiding Notes 1-7, Making Measurements from Unit 1, Properties of Matter. In these notes we will look at the guiding question, how do you record measurements on an analog and digital device? You will complete the do now in your notes and check your work at the end. So notes, when recording a measurement on an analog device, this is something that is not digital or battery operated, it just has lines and you have to read it. You record all the numbers that are certain, so for every line it is a certain value. And one that is a guess. The guess value is a guess about how far numerically you would estimate whatever you're measuring is to fall between two known lines on an analog device. If you are measuring a liquid, you always read from the bottom of the meniscus, which is the curve of a liquid, and we will look at that. So here we see that there is a curve slightly on this liquid. You always read from the bottom part there. So if you read this from too high, the value is going to be too low. If you read it from too low, it's going to be too high. So you always want to have it resting on the table, whatever liquid you're measuring, and align your eyes by squatting or bending slightly with the bottom of the meniscus. So for this you would record all known digits and one guess digit. So we know 14 and then 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 is on that line. So 14.3 are known, and then you would guess how far between the 0.3 and the 0.4 line this is. And this example guesses 0.1. If it lands directly on the line, you would guess 14.30. You always have to have one guess digit. And this is called your uncertain digit. Okay, and you always have to have it. And it's only one. However, when you're recording when you are making a measurement, using a digital device, you don't have to record a guess digit. It already does it for you. You just write down whatever the digital device, be it a scale or a thermometer or something else, spits out at you. You just record what it says. Okay, so here we're going to look at the I do. Record the length of the arrow using the two different rulers. So the arrow is the same length, but we have two different rulers with two different graduations or tick marks on them. So each little line is considered a tick mark. Technically they're considered graduation lines, but tick mark is much easier to figure out. Okay, so for the top one, we know 5 and 6. So we know the arrow is at least 5 centimeters. But it's between 5 and 6, but we aren't certain how far. So we would do one guess as to how far, and we might guess 5.8. This digit, being a guess, can vary. You would have been justified guessing 5.9 or 5.7. Those would also be valid. In the second ruler, we see we have more tick lines, and that each tick line is 0.1 for each one. So that's 0.1, 0.2, and then the next one's 0.3, and so on. So when we're counting the tick lines, each tick line would indicate a number. So we know definitely 5 point, and if we look in a little closer, we see that looks like it might go to the 5.9 line. So getting back to this, we would write 5.9 because we know that there is a tick mark for that one. So that one is known. And then we have to guess how far. So I could say 5.91 centimeters because I think it goes just past. You may think that it hits the line, so you would say 5.90. That it is not past that line, it is right on it. If you're like, I think it stops right before, 5.89 would also be acceptable for this. And notice they are all very close to each other. So for the we do's, you are going to scan the QR code that is in your guiding notes and complete the we do's alongside the videos that pop up. For the you do's, using what you've learned so far, complete the remaining questions, and you won't be able to check your answers. When you finish the you do's, you will answer the guiding question in your notes at the bottom at the end of them. If you were absent, you can upload your work to Schoology, to the assignment, or you can wait until you return to class to submit it. Thank you, everyone.